Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really interesting trend that's picking up steam. Businesses are starting to strategically pull their workloads out of the public cloud and bring them back in-house. We're going to break down the why and the how.
So, have you ever opened your monthly cloud bill and just stared at it in disbelief? If you've ever felt that bill shock as costs just seem to creep up and up, believe me, you are not alone. It's a huge pain point for so many companies right now.
All right, so let's get into it. A brand new report just came out from the tech experts over at Virtualization Options LLC, a Colorado-based advisory firm. And they have laid out this fantastic framework for, well, taking back control of your own infrastructure. We're going to walk you through their biggest insights.
Okay, so first things first. Why on earth would anyone make this move? It sounds kind of backwards, right? Let's take a look at the real drivers behind what people are calling cloud repatriation.
The first reason is a big one, and it comes down to money. According to Virtualization Options LLC, if you've got stable, predictable workloads, a well-run on-premises setup can slash your total cost of ownership by a whopping 30 to 60% compared to the public cloud. I mean, that is an absolutely game-changing number.
But here's the thing. The report makes it super clear. This isn't just about the money. It's really a strategic play. We're talking about getting total control over your hardware, being able to meet those super strict compliance rules like GDPR, and squeezing out every last drop of performance, sometimes seeing latency drop by 3 to 10 times.
So you might be wondering, how is this even possible? How do you move back on-prem without losing all the great efficiency you got from the cloud? Well, the secret weapon, as the report points out, is modern server virtualization. At its heart, virtualization is, well, it's kind of like magic. It uses a clever piece of software called a hypervisor that lets one single powerful physical server do the job of dozens or even hundreds of machines. It completely changes the game for how you use your computing resources.
And this whole approach really rests on 3 pillars. First, you get this incredible resource efficiency. We're talking about taking a server that was maybe 15% busy and cranking that up to over 80%. Wow. Second, you get rock-solid security because everything is isolated. And third, it builds the foundation for a super optimized and flexible data center.
Okay, let's switch gears and get practical. How does this all translate into choosing the right solution? We're going to build out a checklist, starting with the real nuts and bolts, the technical and security stuff.
Now, on this point, the folks at Virtualization Options LLC are crystal clear. When you're talking about migrating serious, production workloads out of the cloud, you're almost always going to want what's called a Type 1 or bare metal hypervisor. It runs right on the hardware for way better performance and much tighter security.
And here's the crucial part. This doesn't just run on any old computer. Your hardware has to have specific features built right into the CPU. The report really hammers this home. Before you buy a single piece of gear, check the vendor's hardware compatibility list, the HCL. Trust me, it is a non-negotiable first step that will save you from a world of pain later.
The report also champions this idea of defense in depth. What does that mean? Well, it means you can't just protect one little part of the system. You've got to look for a solution with security built in to every single layer. Things like virtual machine encryption, secure boot, and really solid access controls.
All right, beyond the tech specs, let's talk about the money and the management side of things. Because this is really where the long-term value of a move like this starts to shine. This is where you really see that return on investment.
This right here is a massive insight from the report, and it's so important. We all focus on the big upfront costs of the hardware, but that's not the whole story. It's the day-to-day operational costs, power, cooling, people's time, that actually make up the vast majority of your budget over the long haul.
And here's the beautiful part. This is the payoff. Virtualization directly attacks those big operational costs. Because you're consolidating so many servers, you see these huge savings in power and cooling. You need way less physical space in your data center, and your admins become way more efficient.
So the financial journey here follows a pretty clear path. In year 1, the cloud probably wins because you don't have that big hardware bill. But for those stable workloads we talked about, you often hit a break-even point right around year 3. And after that, by year 5, the savings from your on-prem setup really start to take off. A successful migration isn't just about fixing the problems you have today. It's about picking a platform that's going to grow with you, one that won't hold your business back tomorrow.
So the big takeaway here is to think beyond just the basics. The report really advises you to look for a platform that gets modern applications, things like containers and Kubernetes.
It should use AI to make managing everything smarter, not harder, and it absolutely has to let you have a real hybrid strategy, so you can get the best of both worlds.
So when you boil it all down, the insights from Virtualization Options LLC really challenge all of us to think more strategically about where our applications and data actually belong. And it leaves you with this one final, really important question to ask yourself. Is it time to trade that convenience of the cloud for true control over your own infrastructure?